I which had a forward from Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, and I just want to talk about ENDSARS. Uh, it's unfortunate that I'm not in Lagos. I wish I was in Lagos, but I want to address a point that people are not talking about, and that's the fact that ENDSARS has to metamorphosize into a political movement, a single political movement that can defeat our oppressors in 2023. That's exactly what I talked about in my book. I know a lot of people, cannot read a 200-page book, but I've also been writing articles on Nigerian newspapers, and I've been trying to, um, you know, f- put this message across. It's nice. I'm excited that we're able to fight in a way we haven't in a long time. But I want to explain to people that this will not create a lasting solution if we do not create a political platform that can defeat our oppressors from 2023. I'll give you a few examples. So the Egyptians did the same. And can I tell you guys, today Egypt is not is probably worse than it was before Hosni Mubarak. When young people come together without a coordinated effort, without leadership, they can create some changes, but it's not lasting except they can organize themselves politically to defeat oppressors. So what happened in Egypt? Young people came together, and they were able to get Hosni Mubarak out, but they were not together politically. They didn't have enough strength, no enough structure, unity to win elections. So what happened? The Muslim Brotherhood won the elections. And the whole world did not accept that because it's a terrorist. Let me say, a political party sponsored by the Muslim Brotherhood won election, and the whole world, even the Egyptians, did not agree because the minorities were persecuted. Eventually, the military had to take over power. Egypt is back to what it was today. The people there are the same people that worked with Hosni Mubarak. So what happened? People died. A lot of monuments were destroyed, but the country is the same. We fought for democracy before 1999, and guess who took over? Oppressors. Perhaps people that are worse than the military. Why? The people that fought for democracy refused to learn politics. They did not come together to create a viable political platform that can be strong enough to compete strongly with our oppressors. So since 1999, 21 years ago, we've been ruled by oppressors because we've refused to learn politics. That's why I took time to write this book, explaining not just politics, but also policies. Not everybody is going to be a politician. Not everybody is going to run for office. I don't have plans to run for office. Nigeria is not devoid of adequate ambitious people. A lot of people are ambitious. A lot of people want to be governors. But what I'm saying is that you need to learn the process and we need to come together. And that's my objective. Some of us have to write. I want to refer you to, I wrote an article called, I think that the title is Revolution in Nigeria. Let's Face Reality. I think that's it. If you Google, it was published by Vanguard, it was published by Pulse.ng, The Nation newspaper, as well as liberatingnigeria.com, which is my organization's website. And if you read that article, you will see that it's a summary of a lot of things that I talked about, which is explaining the Iranians had their revolution in the late 70s. Is an average Iranian today living better than the way they were living before the 79? Maybe not. That's why I never supported revolution now. It doesn't solve the problem. The solution is we young people have to come together, form a single political union. What is wrong in Falz becoming the leader of this movement? I mentioned Falz because he has a father that can provide guidance, mentorship, and leadership. And he's a credible father. Falz can become the face of this opposition. I don't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Why don't we just support somebody? This movement requires a leader, one leader to start with. And then when you have a leader, you can have multiple people working together. Let's create a political party from this fantastic movement we're experiencing right now. If we don't do that, we'll get what we want right now. Police might be reformed. The next 1 year will be back to status quo. And then 2023 will come. The same people will win elections and will keep repeating the cycle. We have 3 more years before 2023. It's time for us to wake up. You don't have to start from presidency. We can start from um, lower positions. But to me, this is the best opportunity for Nigerians to come together. Young people to form a single coalition. Again, single, one coalition that can become strong enough to compete for elections. If we keep running away from politics and say it's for the bad people, and you want to depend only on protests like this, we're not going to solve the problem. Tunisia is probably the only country that seemed to have a little bit of success among the countries that experienced the Arab Spring. No other country did. Libya today is far worse than it was when Gaddafi was there. I do not support dictators, but I believe, uh, protest, revolution. I don't really like the word revolution, but I would say protests have to be has to go alongside political movement for Nigeria to be salvaged. I just want to make sure I did not miss any of my point. Some people might ask, why don't we evolve to um, Buhari must resign? Because I'm talking about 2023. And like people have said, why don't we just keep things going and start pushing for Buhari must resign? Guys, Buhari is not going to resign. If we do that, he's going to crush us. His people, his DSS, is going to arrest, kill, maim people. He's not going to resign. He's so paranoid. Showore was very harmless. Showore doesn't have a lot of followers. Why should a government arrest such person? A harmless person. He doesn't. Showore can't get 1 million followers. He's passionate, but he was not in any way a threat to the government. Yet he was arrested. He's still unfairly kept in Abuja till today. So if you now decide to start clamoring for Buhari's resignation, you'll be in soup. And we don't need that. He's not going to resign. He's going nowhere. But what we need to do is to channel all this energy together to create a political movement. I mean, I created liberatingnigeria.com like a forum. And I said our vision is to enlighten, influence, and organize 5 million first-time voters by 2023 and 20 million first-time voters by 2027. I just want to enlighten. I want to provide information. In my book, I have a lot of Liberating Nigeria. It's on Amazon. It's on different bookshops in Nigeria, booksellers in Ibadan. It's in Glendora, Keja City Mall, Surulere Mall. I wish I have money to give this book out free of charge to people because I want to provide information. I want people to learn and understand that we can do it, but we need to learn. It's good. We have the energy to protest, but we need to use that same energy to build a group. We also need to submit ourselves to leadership, and that's why I suggested Falz right away. I'm not just talking theory. I'm suggesting right now, why can't we make Falz the leader of this movement? Again, he's a lawyer, so he can easily understand issues. He can read and write. His father is there to provide guidance. He's loved by the young people. That's an example. I can't think of another example actually, but he's not the only person that can do it. But let's be ready to submit ourselves to leadership. This idea that we're running this protest, we don't have any leaders. We need to stop it. I don't like when young people continue to say they don't want to submit themselves to leadership. The Yoruba submitted themselves to Awolowo leadership, and it paid off. We've also had some leaders over the years we've had Ambrama Desoya, we've had MK Abiola, we've had Bola Tinubu. Nigerians have had leaders. People have submitted themselves to their leadership, even though these people have been imperfect. Awolowo was not a perfect person, but people submitted themselves to their leaderships. It's time for young people to submit themselves to leadership. And I'm suggesting let Falz be the face of this movement, or whoever we choose. And let that person provide guidance. Let the person provide foresight. Finally, I'd like to talk about three things before I end this broadcast. One is my own experience with SARS. SARS visited my dad's hotel in Nigeria long time, some years ago. They arrested everybody, saying they were Yahoo people, asking for 500,000. I wasn't in Lagos. I wasn't in Nigeria actually. Everybody was helpless. I had an in-law who was a top government official. I don't want to be specific. He couldn't help me. I reached out to him a lot. He couldn't help. And then I went on the internet to look for numbers. I was favored by God, I believe. I saw the commissioner of police in that state. I found his GSM number somehow. I'm a Yoruba man, but he's an Hausa man. Good man. Didn't know me from anywhere. I picked up my phone, I called him, and I was crying. People have been arrested in my dad's small hotel for no reason. And these are poor people, regular people, I would say. And the police SARS is asking for 500,000, 300,000. Help me, sir. And the man helped. A CP helped. I will never forget that man. And I'm saying this because I really appreciate that even my relative or my in-law, who was a big person, couldn't help. So everybody has a sad story. Two more things. While we're doing all this, I hope you guys know that Buhari has sent Loretta Onoche's name to become an INEC commissioner. That is shocking. That is disgraceful. We need to listen. We need to also say something about this. Why would a president send the name of a special advisor, somebody that has been working for him for years, to become an INEC official? I couldn't believe it. Let's not be too carried away with what we're doing right now. Let's remember we mustn't allow that. That's easy to compromise. That's an APC member you're sending to become an umpire. We shouldn't allow that. We need to take note of all these policy issues and make sure we continue to fight. Lastly, Mr. Femi Adesina, I sympathize with you. I'm not happy that you're getting threats. But sir, nobody's asking you not to stop loving Buhari. But we're asking you to say the truth to power. I believe you're a pastor and you're also a veteran. You're a veteran journalist. You come on TV and you don't. You also share a lot of untruths. You lie on TV. So I sympathize. I don't want anybody to be hurt. But sir, it's important for you to also begin to change. Speak through to power. Sometimes be objective when you analyze issues. Respect opposing views. All of you, especially Garba Shehu, have become so intolerant to any view different. Why don't you learn from Laolu Akande? Laolu is very civil. Even when he disagrees with you, you like the way he speaks. Why don't you humble yourself and learn from Laolu Akande? You can defend your leader or your master, but you can still show that you are for the people. I think that's my view for today. We're doing a show. More. I know that sometimes Nigerians we prefer to have comedic shows. We'll be doing a show to explain this further through one of our people. But this is just my own input about SARS. I support end to SARS. I support end to police brutality in Nigeria. But I'm also calling for a unified movement that will bring about, that will defeat our oppressors in 2023. I'm ready to be part of that movement in terms of educating people, explaining policies to people, and also sharing. I hope I'll get an opportunity to share hundreds or thousands of my books to young people so that as they embark on this journey, they're not going without knowledge. Thank you. Nigeria will flourish again, and I believe we can flourish